Minnesota, for the last 12 months, things have been going exceedingly well. It's probably too well when you think about the history of this franchise, what they have gotten, what they deserve. These last 12 months have been a dream. You lucked up into Anthony Edwards. You ended up getting J-Lo and A-Rod, buying your team with a guy who has more money than God. They want to change things around. They hire someone from Clutch Sports to fix the culture inside of Minnesota. You end up making the playoffs. You end up getting Rudy Gobert. Things are, by all definitions, a fantasy world for Minnesota Timberwolves fans. And now we have our first hole. The first crack in the foundation that might have you saying, ruh-roh, Scooby, something is amiss. Turns out, J-Lo might be the key and the disruptor and the impetus that has fucked up the entire Timberwolves ownership group. She does look great. She is banging. I do understand why someone would want to do business and pay billions of dollars just to be near her. How this happens, wild story. Everyone knows last year a partnership between A-Rod and Marc Lore won the bid to buy the Minnesota Timberwolves for $2.2 billion. A-Rod and Lore were supposed to be 50-50 partners. But when the down payment came, things got a little sus. July 2021, A-Rod, obviously, might make sense, just fell a little short by making his payment. It's not just a down payment on a Kia either. This wasn't just like a down payment on a nice home in Minneapolis. This was a down payment worth $250 million to pay 20% of the team. And guess what? My man A-Rod couldn't exactly find the change under his couch in order to make that $250. Sources say A-Rod had to go to Marc Lore to help him out. Hey, I need you to spot me a couple of million. I don't know how much million, but it was significant. Sources close to the situation say Lore had to cover the balance for A-Rod. The result is that Lore now owns 13% of the team, A-Rod just 7%. It's not really spotting you if you don't end up getting the equity in the company. They just now have bought it from you. It gets better, though. So much better. The next down payment is due by year's end. Apparently, A-Rod is scrambling around like a DC rat trying to make that payment as well. An NBA source reports, quote, I would not be surprised if A-Rod becomes a subservient number 2 to Lore. The same source told Josh Kosman at the New York Post that he predicted that Lore would end up buying more than half and controlling the Timberwolves. Also, it appears that there's a cooling off personally between Lore and A-Rod. Why, you may ask? What would cause Marc Lore to want to spend less time around A-Rod? Well, no J-Lo, of course. J-Lo is the reason. Apparently, according to a source, said Marc got completely mesmerized by the J-Lo thing. The J-Lo thing. Let me say that again. Marc Lore was completely mesmerized by the J-Lo thing. That is what we call a booty. He was mesmerized by the J-Lo booty. And now that the J-Lo thing is out of the picture, maybe A-Rod is out of the picture too. It's like, you get friends with someone because they've got a famous friend. And it's like, oh yeah, me and Drake are no longer friends. It's like, I just got real busy. Who's going to be at the club? No Drake? Ooh, I'm still in my sweatpants. Only one person, though, probably very happy about this. You guessed it. Maybe one of the worst owners in all of sports, Glenn Taylor, current owner of the Minnesota Timberwolves. He believes currently that this franchise is worth more than the $2 billion that he sold it for. I don't know. Maybe because they made the playoffs. Maybe because Aunt Edwards starred in a movie. Maybe because this A-Rod J-Lo thing has added a little mystique to the team. So you can imagine him just wanting to swim in his little swimming pool full of gold doubloons, just trying to eat up and soak up more money from the last vestige of owning this franchise, hoping that the deal falls through. Because what would happen? Well, Glenn Taylor would get to keep the down payments. Yeah, you get to keep the down payments. Those things are not refundable. And he would get to resell the team to someone else for even more money. God, I hope it doesn't happen. Because then Glenn Taylor will get to keep the team for another 2 more years. The regime of sort of tomfoolery and cheapness, miserly ways that he has is the last thing that this team needs when they're trying to make a push to contend for a title.